In this video we're going to take a look at a couple of different options for the thumbhole stock on an AK47 or AK style rifle. You can see there's quite a few different styles. I'll go through some of the ones we have here as an example and see how many you can identify. So this is the first one. It does have the hole for a cleaning kit. It's a plywood and it's got a pretty heavy finish on it. These are all factory. None of these, well except for this one, really haven't been modified too much or at all. So this is the sling mount, and there's a metal butt plate made for a standard European style AK, it looks like. Next up, another one made out of plywood. So I'd say this is probably the crudest of all of them. However, it's got an interesting shape. Has a metal butt plate that's sort of spring charged, so I don't know if that's designed to take up recoil or just to be able to let you get to the sling. Really not sure. A bit of a swell here as a cheek rest. The worst part about this one is the massive pistol grip. It's so wide from here to here that I have a big hand and I'm coming nowhere near holding on to this thing. It's also very squared off right here. And we can see that on this one as well. Very squared off. Although the hole is better because of the shape, allows even my big fat thumb to get through there. But pretty awkward to shoot them when they're thumb holes like this. Next up is probably the oddest one we have here in the collection. And this one is like an injection molded plastic with some sort of Kydex fillers or spacers sort of glued in place. And you can see that it uses a hole like an old shotgun would to hold it in place that way. And then the pistol grip hole through here. Again, got to be one of the worst ones to use. You can see how the thumb barely gets in there. Your wrist is at an awkward angle. You've got to really bring your finger back, which is tough to do. It just really stretches your hand. It's actually probably easier to shoot these like this than it is to try to use the thumb hole. Looks like it's made out of wood, but it's just paint or some sort of a decal or application to the outside to give it that wood grain. Another one here. This one's very skeletonized. Most of the inside's gone. There's a bit of a cheek rest. Big rubber pad on the back. This bar is for attaching a sling, so lots of room for a sling. Also makes it a very sloppy one because it's going to move a lot. This is a solid molded plastic, so it's still injection molded, but instead of being hollow like this one is solid. There's a hole for the pistol grip and standard European style AK trunnion in the back. Next up is sort of a hybrid there. We've got the rubber butt pad. Screws on like a rifle would. It's a solid wood and it's stained. Someone has drilled out 3 speed holes to give it less weight and then modified the grip here a little bit in an attempt to make it shoot a little better. And by removing this piece, you really give your thumb something to do. Instead of shooting like this, like you have to do on some of these, you're shooting more like this. So that makes it a little easier to deal with, and it puts your trigger finger in such a way that you're not extending it too bad. This one is actually, we can weigh them. This one is actually not as heavy as you'd think with so much wood in it. It's a very lightweight wood. And then last up is another solid wooden with a stain and some sort of a finish. We have a solid rubber butt pad. Really nice. There's a spacer there, like you'd see on a nicer rifle. Really well done. The hole on this case is quite large, so while it looks a little different, much more comfortable. And since this pistol grip is more of an actual pistol grip shape, in fact it's very much like a Tango Down battle grip, a modern Tango Down battle grip, just a bit wider, but makes it a real easy shape to hold on to, real comfortable. Well, compared to these others, not as comfortable as a regular pistol grip. This one, however, is very heavy. I'm actually noticing how much effort I'm putting into holding this one up. So this one is a little bit different. When I kept saying standard European style is when you have this trunnion coming out of the back of the AK. This is a Sega, a Russian style AK, and you can see the rear end of it has this sort of cross shaped trunnion, and you can see how that piece comes out, and that fits into this groove here, and the two screws that you see on top of the trunnion relate to these two screws in the stock. Some AKs don't have this trunnion and are flat on the back here, and that's the type that would use this type of stock. And you can see it also has a hole here. The butt pad must need to be removed, and then there's probably a hole going down similar to this one. Well, there's 6 minutes worth of looking at the differences between AK Thumbhole Stocks. If you can identify all 6, then you really know your AKs. Because there's a couple on the table that I'd have to go double check the origin of myself. Alright, thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.